Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to the show. Hope you're beating the heat. I'm personally not. So thankfully, I'm in this nice air-conditioned studio. Terry, what's going on, my friend?
Dude, we got no heat today. I'm enjoying my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, it's brutal
The
down
heat
here.
broke. Yeah. No, not here.
So we have a heck of a show today. We have
Mhm.
an amazing guest who's doing a lot of things. Why don't you tell us about him?
Yeah. Okay. Man, I want to introduce him while he's here. That's the truth.
All
I
right,
want to
bring him
see
in.
if there's anything wrong with what I say. Yeah, no, because this guy has a lot under his belt at the moment.
Terry,
Making
you're gonna have a heck of an edit to do on this one.
making me feel
There we go. We
awkward.
got it.
What's up,
We
buddy?
got
Let me
Nice.
not
do a
much.
little
How you doing?
Not bad, man. Let me do a little bit of an introduction for you.
Sure.
However much I mess this up, feel free to correct me and say, man, you're an idiot. You got it all wrong. You ready?
All right. Sure thing.
So, this guy, passionate advocate, content creator, entrepreneur. Let's start there. This guy lives with cerebral palsy and he's made a presence on online social media, sharing his experience with cerebral palsy, of course. Dude, this guy has his own podcast.
All right,
I had to
cool.
do research to find this out. Talented musician, of course, and his music's available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Apple Music, and probably other platforms I'm not too sure about yet. But dude, this guy also has his own merch line. Yo, Teddy, slow down, bro. Anyway, Teddy, Nick, Teddy.
Welcome to the show,
Nice
Teddy.
to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
No
Yeah,
problem. So
no,
how did he get all that right? Is that all accurate?
Yeah. So podcast is on hiatus right now. Just because, it's as you guys know, I'm sure it's tough to get a good like group of guests where then you like don't have to constantly be asking every week for new people and stuff. So I had a bit of a backlog for a while, but then that backlog kind of dried up, so I'm waiting to start the next group until I'm more recorded. So other than that, though, pretty spot on. It's a busy time.
what? Yo, your podcast, it's with other musicians? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yep. So other musicians and like producers and stuff, and just like people that are kind of like in the music sphere.
That's cool. That's cool. And obviously nothing to do with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I think I've had one guest that had a disability. They have lupus. But I thought with everything else, content-wise being so disability specific, I was like, I want to try and do something where that's not like the main focus on the content. And it has been it's been a lot of fun. It's also been really interesting to see how the differences between making those two types of content, like content that's more just generalized and then content that's more specific. Because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't really think about before starting it, where it's like, oh, it's a lot of experiences that like able-bodied people in the music industry might not have the same ones. So
Very true. Very true.
True that. I have a question. First of all, you started your Instagram account. Your first post was 2008, May 16. What happened that date for you to start it? Just curious.
2008.
Yeah. I
Oh
saw it,
boy.
man. I
Well,
went all the way down. I'm always curious to like when they started it, why they started it. Because when I started my account, it was really coming out of the closet of being in a chair and dealing with
yeah.
my illness, you know?
Yeah. So I'm wondering what that post is. I'll have to check because in 2008, I think I was like, I might have been like 12 or 13. Um, for a long time, I didn't want to do any sort of like content creation
Yeah.
about really anything in general. I just wanted to do music stuff, and like I didn't want to like become a big Instagram guy, but I kind of realized like in high school and stuff, which is or middle school, high school, when Instagram was really picking up and becoming what it well close to what it is now. It's changing all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I realized, well, all my friends are on this, and if I want to like socialize, I'll have to get it. But I didn't really start doing like posts about disability or really anything unrelated to music until maybe 2017 or 2018. And what it was I saw Zach Anner, who's another guy that has cerebral palsy. He's a writer for some TV shows and stuff, a comedian. He did a video about this bagel, that's like this rainbow bagel in New York City, and he like went on a quest to try and find it, and it was hilarious, and I was like laughing my ass off. Oh yeah, what's your guys' swear stuff like with
Have
explicit
fun.
language and all that? Okay,
Don't worry
cool,
about
cool,
it.
cool, cool. Usually I check beforehand, totally forgot. But yeah, so I'm laughing real hard. I'm like, this dude rules. And then I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, well, I mean, you could also do this, and you're very like funny as well. And I was like, I'm not that funny, but that's kind of what made me think about it. And it had been on and off for a while. But more recently I had a song and a reel that did better than like everything that I'd done up until that point. It's like, oh, okay, well maybe I can do this. And that's when I started meeting more people with disabilities and sort of getting involved with the community. And once I connected with the community, it was toast. It was over. I was like, okay, here's where I am now. These people rule. Like I just want to hang out with these people all the time. And like so it's just kind of taken off from there. And I'm sure you guys know like it is a slow grind, but like every connection you make with people that are like genuine, because there's a bunch of people that'll slide up in anyone's DMs or whatever,
Yeah.
especially when
Yeah.
you're disabled, and they'll be like,
Sure.
oh well, let me like pray or whatever, or and
I get that, man. I understand
you
Yep.
that.
get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But so now I'm just happy to have a community. And, I grew up in a really small town in Pennsylvania. I think I graduated with like less than 70 kids. Like
Okay.
there wasn't really much of that for a long time. But the internet, with all of its negative aspects, has
Yeah.
has provided that.
Where in the States are you from?
So I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from middle of Pennsylvania.
Be more
Bro,
specific.
I had no idea. I thought California for some reason because I saw California on a CD song or something like that. I
Oh
just
yeah, I wanted to move to California for a while, but it's Muncie, Pennsylvania. It's if you're familiar with the state, it's like Lycoming County, about 20 minutes from where they do Little League World Series.
I've probably driven through there once or twice, but I'm familiar a little bit. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
hey,
from
Where are you from?
southeast Pennsylvania, down in
Oh,
Delco.
you're from. Oh, okay, yeah. I've driven through there a bunch of times. All
Cool.
right. So you know what it is. I mean,
I do.
Pennsylvania is this huge state with a lot of farmland and a lot of like Amish folks and Mennonite
Yep.
folks, and that's how I grew up, just
Wow.
uh and now I live in New York, so it's very, very different.
No doubt.
Um but I love Pennsylvania. I was just there last week, so
you mentioned that you saw a guy with cerebral palsy, Zach.
yeah, Zach
It
Anner.
it kind of took me off. First of all, we had a guy on here who had cerebral palsy, but his last name was Weeks,
Yeah.
Zachary Weeks, and
Zachary Weeks.
he's also part of a show, but it's in Canada. So I was like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here? Do you know the same guy we know? But that's funny.
Right.
So there's a show in Canada called Push, and it's about people in wheelchairs. Some of them have cerebral palsy, some other illnesses, other issues like spinal injuries and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's so cool because you said Zach. So I was like, whoa, does this guy know the same guy?
Well, it
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be too
wish. Maybe I'll have
surprising.
to hit him up.
the community is gets smaller. The more, like you were saying, the more you get into it, the more people it's like, oh, I know him, I know him.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
amazing
yeah.
how it just happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It definitely, like, once you start making those connections, you're absolutely right. It's that small world feel of like, oh yeah, okay.
I like the intro music you use for your podcast. It has nothing to do with your music, right?
Yeah, I actually run an audio production company with my one of my best friends. I lived in Pittsburgh for like 6 years. And he's also an audio engineer and musician, and we co-produce anything that I put out. I work with him on as well. And I told him, I said, look, man, I can make like rock music or whatever, like that kind of stuff, but I'm like absolute garbage at electronic, and I just really want some like nice, like vibey electronic music for the beginning of the podcast. He goes, say no more, dude. And like I don't even know how he did like half the shit he did. Like there's that like deep fucking voice that goes stereo spread. Like I don't know how he did that. Um, but I'm fortunate to have, sort of him in my corner working on all the stuff with me. And then it's it's really, we'll talk to anybody that we can. Like I have a one of the ones that's sort of in the log right now, waiting for, I think I want like two more guests probably before I start them back up. But they're a rock group, they're sisters, they're from South Africa. They're from Cape
Oh wow.
Town. And yeah, I mean they're incredible. They have a crazy cool story. Scheduling was very hard because of the time difference, but we got it done. I've just been able to meet so many great musicians and just really interesting people. I talked to Jed Jones in season one. He produced Post Malone's
I saw that.
album, and yeah, that was a good one. I was a little starstruck with that one. It was kind of weird because he's worked with so many people, but
Yeah. I was going down your episodes and I saw that. I'm like, whoa. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I
yeah,
got to I
yeah.
got to give a shout out to Sherry, which is from your first episode, because she loves AI. Dude, I'm in love with AI, and
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. That's helped me so much. And some people like to shame on it. I'm like, nah, man. If you use it properly, amazing, dude. Love it.
Oh yeah, Sherry. So I lived with her for many years. She's actually, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have even been able to get out on my own and live in Pittsburgh, because what happened was my college, when I was 18, I went to college. It was awful at first, and I was just really struggling, and I told my parents like I just don't want to do it right now. And they were like, all right, well, if you drop out, you cannot live here. You gotta, make it on your own. And I was like, okay, cool. And she said, oh, well, I have, we can figure something out. I'll get a room together or something. And it was in this beat down house. I think it was on the third floor of an attic. We
Ooh,
shared the attic. It was two rooms. Um, but I mean, without her, I wouldn't have been able to be anywhere close to where I'm at today. And now she has this AI system that she created, like she coded it and like gave it basically her personality by giving it all of her journals and diaries and audio recordings, like
yo,
10
Wow.
years worth of that information.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
that's doing it
she,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and AI is, I mean, I use it so much for so many different tools, things that are hard for me normally, like with,
I use it
there's so
too.
much that can be done with it with disability stuff too, so it's great.
I'm in love with AI. Like, trust me, I get it. And I'm trying to
Oh
find
yeah.
like the full potential use of it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
I'm
When
excited for what, the next 5 years or so looks
this is
like
just the
with it.
beginning. You're right. You're
Sure.
right. It's just the beginning, and it's dude, it's blowing my mind. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
I have
Hmm.
a question. When you interview people on your show, do you tell them you have cerebral palsy, or do they generally know because they know who you are from before?
So what I usually do before I like reach out to somebody, I always reach out to Instagram or through Instagram. So they'll probably know if they do any sort of like like vetting to see if they want to do the show. I mean, I think my profile picture has my chair, and most of the reels and stuff talk about it. They might not know the specific disability, but they definitely, I think, know I'm a chair user. And sometimes they'll ask. I usually do like a 15-minute like chat with them before we start rolling. Um, and they'll typically ask, but it depends. It's like sometimes they might assume that I have a spinal injury or something. That happens a lot, I think. That's kind of the default. If you're a manual chair user, I feel like most able-bodied people will assume it's some sort of spinal injury.
Very
But
true.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna get into in a bit. I'm gonna get into like top 10 things that people say to you that's just absolute stupidness. I have a
Oh,
list
hell yeah.
already that I
That's my
wrote.
favorite.
So yeah,
I have a few too.
okay.
Awesome.
There's a song that okay, so you have about 5 songs out already. I saw them on Spotify. 3 of them I really like, just so you know. But there's
Oh, hell
another
yeah.
one that I saw, but it's not out yet. Tongue Tied is
Oh yeah, that is out now. You might have seen one of the like promotional reels or whatever. Yeah, that one um talks a lot about disability, I think. Um for sure.
cool. None of your songs really talk about disability other than Tongue Tied.
They're all like kind of entendre stuff. It's
Okay.
like I feel like it's if you're a disabled person, you might pick up on it, but
Okay.
if you're able-bodied,
Gotcha.
you might not.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
it,
sense.
it depends. A lot of folks, uh, I just try to write stuff that people will relate to, and sometimes that lands, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's really good music, man. And I'm not just saying that, you know.
Thanks, dude. I
So,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Junebug too. That's a good song. So,
Oh, thanks. That
it
that one
kind of,
took 5 years.
I don't want to insult you in any way, okay?
5
Oh
years.
no,
But
Oh my goodness.
you're not gonna insult me, bro. Don't worry about it at
you're
all.
kind of on the Beatles side with that song. I know it's June and
They're one
everyone's
of
gonna
my
think,
favorite bands of
all
all
right,
time,
there you
so
go.
I'll definitely take that as a huge compliment.
Respect.
Yeah, yeah. The next one we're actually working, it's probably the one that'll come out next. I specifically was trying to be as Beatlesy as possible with it. So
Not even hiding it anymore.
no, no, my mom used to dunk on me so hard because when I first started, like trying to learn how to sing and shit, she'd be like, "Why do you sing with a British accent?" I was like, "I don't. I just try to sound like the guys that I like, you know?"
That's funny. Okay. Um, when did you start playing anyway? And
I was 12.
okay, that's when you started. I mean, that's not
Yeah,
late.
yeah.
Uh,
No, that's about right. I don't want to
okay.
say right, but that's about average.
Yeah, I feel like most people are usually around that age unless they are like crazy virtuosos and start at like
Yeah,
3 or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
From
yeah.
a music family,
Oh
like
yeah?
if yeah, no, like if the parents play, then the kids will pick it up at like 8 before they even walk.
Oh right, exactly. And
Yeah,
that I mean that's exactly what I did too and still am. So it's you know, it's one of those things where I wanted to really bad, and my parents were like, I don't know, I don't know. And then I saved up all my money from Christmas and my birthday, which totaled to I think about $110, and got a guitar from Toys R Us. And then they were like, okay,
nice.
yep,
Do you still have that guitar?
I do. The bummer about that guitar is that I was kind of like, uh, so now I tend to start projects and actually work on them. When I was in high school, I was untreated with ADHD and mental health stuff. So I'd have all these ideas, but not have the proper treatment or therapy or anything to like compartmentalize everything and function properly. So I actually spray painted it because I thought I was going to turn it into this really cool art piece.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in my dad's like garage, like spray painted all black, like completely probably like cracked, and
Yeah.
busted, but it's somewhere.
It has a story. You can't get rid of it.
Right, exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
one day it'll be worth enough money to afford a new wheelchair when I need it.
When did you start using your chair? I know this is the dumbest question because you'd be like, just
No,
answer
you're
it.
you're I mean that's a good question because so I was cerebral palsy's changed a lot with how it's diagnosed. You can actually get diagnosed a lot earlier now than you could when I was a little. I got my first chair at 5. So before then my mom was just carrying me everywhere and my dad was just
Wow.
carrying me everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was just real clunky. What about you? When like with everything, when did you get the first chair and how easy was it to jump in?
Wow. This is like a whole episode on this, man, if you're asking us this. I have MS. I don't know if you knew that or
Mm-hmm.
not, but I I used it when, oh man, you can get into a whole episode about this. I used it because my legs started getting tired, more tired. So that's why I say I was in the closet with this because I didn't want the public to know. So whenever I was home, I had a chair 5 years before I sat in it because I wanted
Hmm.
everyone to get ready for it. So I would put it in my office and I'd be like, look. And people would look at it and say, whoa, what's with the chair? And they'd get all awkward. And I was just slowly bringing it into everyone's vision to be like, this
Hmm.
is what's going to happen to me. Get used to it. And then it was 2018, 2019 when I started sitting on it behind closed doors. And I realized my life is so much more meaningful now being in the chair. I get to, it's just more um, luxury. I can't. What is the word, man? Nick, come up with a word.
It's
No, it's
I
just
just
comfortable.
yeah, it's just a tool that helps you get around. I mean, now it's a necessity, but
and I was shaming myself a lot.
yeah,
Like, oh, I'm giving up. I'm giving up. And then I realized that no, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. It's my life's become more relaxing
yep.
in a chair.
I resisted for a while too. I was I want to say about the same time, 2017, 2018, something like that. Um, so I use it off and on as I need it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was a long time. I was diagnosed in 2013, so it took, about 5 to 7 years for the chair to be a bigger part of my life
Yeah.
than it was in the beginning. So
But keep in mind that after I started sitting in it, my legs within 2 months got so weak, and then I
Oh
started
yeah.
blaming myself so much. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done. I could have been still walking. Nah, man, my legs were on its way out. So I
Yep.
should have been
Yep.
sitting in the chair like a year before I sat in the chair.
I totally relate to just sort of waiting to kind of prep for it. Before I started releasing stuff as like my own name and everything, um, I had a project that was more folk music that started probably like 2016, and I released music under this folk project called the Sad Saps, and I never ever ever posted anything with my wheelchair ever because I was like, I don't want people to know. They're gonna either A, make fun of me, or B, listen to it because like out of pity, or C, like I'll never be able to tell like if they actually like it or if they're just like, oh, look at him, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
the pity
But
shares.
then yeah, eventually I was like, man, fuck that. Like I'm just gonna put out music and do what I can. So I relate to just kind of being worried about like what people are gonna think and everything. And then once you let go of that, boy, does it change a life.
Oh,
Still there, but I'm
so true.
almost there. So, what you care about, what people think about you and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when you're in public, you're the center of attention when you're in a chair. You know what I
yes,
mean?
absolutely.
Unless you're
Yeah,
like some obese guy or people are like, oh, I don't want to stare at that guy. It's not comfortable looking at him.
Right,
But when you're a younger guy, they're always
right.
analyzing you, right? They're like,
If you
oh,
look like any of us do, they're like, why? What's going on there?
yeah, they're always trying to figure it
If
out.
you're exactly. It's like they put on their detective hats, and it's like, well, you can feel that staring though. You do feel it, like almost like a extra sense or something.
Is it
I call
contagious? I don't
yeah.
know.
Right? Are you gonna get whatever? If I like go up to you, I'm gonna start telling people yes or something so they stop.
I often reference being visibly invisible. So they see you, but they like look up beyond you to get around you. So
Mhm.
they know you're there, but they're not going to look down to make sure they don't hit you or walk into the chair or whatever.
Right. Absolutely. And I think part of that is, well, my dad explained this to me. He's like 65. So he went to high school in the 70s. We as disabled folks, like if you're a younger disabled person, you're still like a minor or whatever, we didn't really get the right to public education until I think 75.
Wow.
So when my dad was growing up, he said we didn't see kids in wheelchairs like when I was in school. That wasn't a thing, but we were always taught not to look at them, and that was like a wrong teaching. And
Can you
you
imagine?
know,
Yeah.
and I think some people still have that, and then some people are still being taught that, because unless you know a person with a disability,
Yeah.
it does, what else is going to change perspective for people?
Yeah.
What about when people say, I don't see the disability, I don't see the chair? Me, I'm like, no, no, no. I want you to see the chair. I want you to
Yeah.
see the disability. Don't,
Yeah,
you know?
you're 100% right. I mean, that's the most like lame ass, like, because it's kind of like saying that is saying, well, one, it's not true, because how could you miss it? It's a big metal fucking thing that
Yeah.
like we're pushing, and it's like
Yeah.
clunky. But two, it's kind of devalues experience, I think.
I agree with that.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I like that too. I never thought of that.
I
And when
feel like a
people,
lot of people think it's okay, but it's just a lot of unlearning as a whole, and that's one of the pieces too.
dude, that's so true. They're discrediting you when they say, I don't see it. It's like, no, do you see what I
Yeah,
go through every day? But totally. And you
right.
know, when people don't stare at you, to me, I always said it's because they're uncomfortable. They're
Yeah,
uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
their issue, not my issue, you know?
yeah,
So
Absolutely right.
I,
100%.
I want to go through this list and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go through it and see how many you're like, oh my God, yes. You know, some of them are really silly. Okay, we'll start with number one. You're not trying hard enough to walk or move properly.
Yep. I still get that now. And I used to get, when I was younger, I would get that from family members. That's a crazy one.
Wow.
I saw a reel you
Wow.
did where you stood up out of your chair and you fell down. That's one of my
Dude,
favorite reels I've seen in a long time.
can't even do that anymore. When I stand up, that was like, there was one where I could stand up for 20 seconds and then I start surfing because my legs were giving out. Can't do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
anymore. I should do
That's
another
how it
update on that
goes.
video.
Yeah,
You
I
should
love that video.
stitch yourself then and
Yeah.
now.
Number two, can't you just make your muscles work like everyone else? That must be a
Yeah,
cerebral palsy thing.
I get that a lot. So the thing about cerebral palsy is that this one comes up a lot when people ask what you have or what I have, and then I'll say, well, it's cerebral palsy. It's brain damage that like affects all these different things. And then they're like, well, can't you just like think the thing, and then it makes you? And I'm like, no, it's brain damage. That you can't like magically get a new brain or portion of the brain that's fucked up. So yeah, that's a silly one too.
MSers, we don't like to, I don't know if, I don't want to say we don't like to, but we don't ever talk about it. But because we have lesions in our brain, or some have it on their spine, whatever the case is,
Hmm.
it means that we have brain damage.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but nobody wants to say that because when you hear brain damage, you think the worst of whatever. But I'm so
Well,
glad you said it. Hey, you got brain damage too. Welcome to the brain damage
yeah,
club.
exactly, dude. Because listen, like, people are gonna go, like you said, they think the worst. They'll automatically go to whatever their perception of that is. But that is like part of what we try to do with making content or having podcasts or talking about this stuff, because once people know like what's really going on and how complex all these other conditions is, and once people see also, not that there isn't some infighting in the community, but once they see the like broad amount of unity and support that people with different conditions have for each other. I mean, it's not like folks with MS are like, you know, at odds with folks with other conditions or cerebral palsy or anything like that. Like that's how we get people that don't have any disabilities to like really understand. So
That's true.
just
Very
call it
true.
what it is.
Very true.
Number three. I'll do number three and number four, then we'll take a break from these in case I'm like
Okay.
triggering the public. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Let them get mad. Let them put on a cape and be
Keep going.
super mad. Who cares?
You're so lucky you don't have to work like the rest of us. Oh,
Oh, I
that's
love this one.
Yeah, I get that
I've
one.
I love this one because I'll tell you what, I am uh actually just now in the process of so I've had a job since I was 16. I'm just now in the process, after months and months of delaying and telling my doctors no, I'm officially this week starting the application for SSDI. Um, and anyone that says you're lucky you don't have to work like the rest of us, it doesn't bother me because it's like, yeah, well, when the body doesn't like allow for what the typical, you know, American 40-hour work week uh is, that's the reason we have these programs.
Yeah.
And
it's
there's
funny
other
because
things we can do.
if someone says that to me, I don't think I would flip out. I'd just laugh, maybe give a funny answer. But if someone were to
Yeah,
say that to Nick, to you, to someone else, I think I would go crazy. You know, it's so
yeah,
much easier for me to speak up for
Yeah.
somebody else than myself. That's what I'm trying to say.
I
I think I relate to that. Go ahead, Nick.
no, sorry. I've gotten that one a bunch. There's
Yeah.
been I've heard that a bunch, and I tell them, listen, being on disability, first of all, like you said, there's a reason for it. It's not just like they hand it out. Like you have to
Oh my
not
God.
not be
It's
able. It's tough.
mm-hmm.
And I say, look, I will pay you a lot less than you're used to earning every month. Um, and your bills aren't going to go down. So your bills stay what they are, but you get way less money, and you have to learn how to navigate your entire life in a wheelchair. So let's trade.
Yeah, wanna swap.
Let's see how that goes.
I love that. I'm gonna use that if anyone
Feel
gives me
free.
shit.
Go
Cause
for it.
like I have the appointment
That's
tomorrow,
good.
or yeah, tomorrow's Monday. So I'm going to the office tomorrow to like finish everything up. And I mean, y'all know it, it's a 5 month, like you have to wait for so long. It's not like you can magically have money unless you have like savings. It's a
Right.
gamble to even apply for it.
3 years.
Um, it took you 3 years
3 years. At 3 years and a federal court date.
and a federal court date. Wow, okay.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Yo, I'm like, how long did it take you since you were working at 60 and too late, man? Like, why didn't you go on disability
Uh,
before? Is it because of pride? Is it because the ego?
um, it's a mix of both. It's it and I think that is kind of what actually led my body to be in worse shape now than it would have been. Um,
Hmm.
so I had tried when I was 19 to get on it. But the way that it was set up, and keep in mind when I was 19, this was like I was at odds with my folks. I had to leave, you know, my house and like move to Pittsburgh, and everything was super fresh. I couldn't drive or anything, didn't really have like a good grasp on public transit. Went about halfway through the process, and then they said, "You need a physical." And I said, "Okay, great. I'll go to the doctor that's by my house." And they said, "Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh my
You'll go
God.
to this doctor that's 2 hours away." And I said, "Well, hey, guess what? I can't drive because of, you know, obvious reasons.
Right.
Um, and there's no bus that goes there, and the case got thrown out. And then
Yep.
that case getting thrown out is what made me, it made me angry, because I used to carry a lot of anger and self-pity, I think, with my disability. So I said, well, I'm never doing that then. I'll just work like everybody else, because I'm never gonna let somebody tell
Ugh,
me
I'm getting
uh
triggered, man.
right.
Like that is
So yeah, it was a lot of pride for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
people think it's a cakewalk,
It's
and it's really
right.
not. It hits. You want to talk about triggers? It's all it is a big trigger after, like, because they bring up, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, you have to fill out these forms, and it just highlights all the negative things of the diagnosis, and you're like, "Ah, I don't want to, I don't like, you know it, and you know the
Yeah.
struggles that you have, but you don't like it when it's put in your face like that, like when they're talking about it again and again and again, and this doctor says you
Yeah.
can, and the second opinion, third opinion, like everyone's just telling you again and again. It's like, enough,
It's
you know?
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
it's like
It
you're
hurts again. You know,
Yeah.
you spend so much time making it not hurt anymore. And then when your body gives out, because I mean, I used to be able to do a lot. And I think what happened was I lived in a bunch of inaccessible places. So I'd have to be climbing stairs and doing all this stuff. And then I couldn't get PT scripts filled because there was no progress shown or whatever. And so I was just working my body, working my body. And then now that my body is like probably the worst it's been, uh it's like, oh well, all these doctors and the government is like, well, how disabled are you though?
Yeah. It's
number
almost like,
four.
oh,
Sorry,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
one sec. So it's almost like trial by fire. Like, it's almost like you have to, like, appear in front of them to say, yep, here I am. Nothing works.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
lying.
Dude,
Exactly.
you have cerebral palsy. Like, do you go there and be like, oh, I gotta show them it's a lot worse than it is, so I gotta act more? It's
No.
like, no, man,
Right.
you got cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
So
Literally, if anyone looks at my hands, because that's like the biggest tell with cerebral palsy, is like your hands are always like wiggling and weird and like in like awkward stiff positions. Like, it's so easy, but people, I think everybody is so worried that people are going to play the system or whatever, but then
oh
it's
yeah.
like,
Yep.
if you really know how hard it is to begin with to even get on it, then people would worry a lot less about folks playing the system.
Yeah.
You were going in the water and you said, this is me going into the water in the beach, whatever. And then you went, like, you submerged half your body into there and then you stopped and turned around and you said, I can't do this. It's hurting my body. Were you having spaz attacks? Because that's what I would get if I
Yeah.
go into cold water. No way. I was like, yo,
Yeah,
this guy might be
dude.
having the same issue with his lower back. I get that all the time, man.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's a big thing. I have spasms. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like a daily thing. But cold
Yeah.
temperature makes me absolutely like seize up to a point where I can't like even get the spasms to stop sometimes. And sometimes I think it's funny because it's like maybe my leg will just be going in the chair and I'm like not paying attention to it, or I'm playing video games or something and my leg is just like doing its own thing. But anything like swimming or something like that, like
Yeah.
it's a
No, I get
gamble
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad I saw that video because I was like, I understand that. And thanks for sharing it, bro, because I don't know if I would. You know, I try to put videos out there that I'm like, I don't got an ego, I don't have pride. This is my life. But I still, it's all still calculated, as long as my
Yeah.
Yeah.
butt crack's not showing, that's a good video.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
number
I
four.
used to never. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, it actually works perfectly with all this. This is why I wanted to bring it out.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I used to never let people see me in shorts or anything that wasn't fully covered pants. And that's something that I'm still working through. I mean, I have two pairs of shorts. I've never worn them outside of a like a swimming thing, because my legs are skinny. My
Mine too.
feet, I think I've broken every toe on both my feet
Mm,
numerous times, so they're all like crooked and twisted, and I got scars everywhere. So, but posting that video was like, I don't want people to think what most folks that do Instagram is, which is let me show a curated version of my life that shows me as like hot shit. Whereas I think a lot of folks watch stuff like the stuff we make to see, hey, it's actually not hot shit all the time. It can be. It's
no.
not like you have to be on a hospital bed all the time. In my case, or whatever, but it's like there are instances where certain normal things that an able-bodied person wouldn't think twice about. It's like, oh, that can change a day in a second.
Oh yeah.
So this is probably what they had in their mind. Number four, you don't look disabled. You must be faking it.
Every single time somebody comes up to me, when I would do, but or every day somebody would come up to me when I would do street performing, which for a while was how I in Pittsburgh, that's like how I supported myself for a while. And I would get people saying, well, do you really need that? Or like, you don't look it. And it's just so funny because what does that mean? What does a disabled person look like? Like, what is that? Can you draw it for me? Will you, show me references? Because that's just like so silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. I get that a lot too
Also, our
because
chairs are so expensive. Go ahead.
oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, that's very true. They are. They're not, everybody thinks they're free and they're not. Um,
Nick, people ask me all the time, like, hey, I need advice on a chair. Should I go? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Go to, again, in Canada, it might be different, but go to a manufacturer or someone who represents the wheelchairs, like whatever brand you want to go to. Because some people think you can go on Amazon and just buy a chair.
ugh,
And
you
yeah,
can.
you
You
can, you
can.
can, yeah. But they're basically transport chairs
Yeah,
or
they're hospital
It's like
chairs.
Walmart
yes,
type or
hospital chairs.
hospital type
Mhm.
chairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
fine if that's what you can afford, that's fine. But I usually um I usually advise people to go to a rehab, like a reputable rehab hospital,
Yep.
and say talk to their department and see what they can do for you because they usually have people there that work directly with manufacturers.
yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Exactly. And I think that's the best advice you can give somebody because well, in the US it's well, so you're in Canada, and then where are you, Nick?
down in Delaware County,
Oh,
down at
that's right,
yeah,
Pennsylvania. Okay, so
yep,
you're
southeastern.
familiar with the whole shit show that is the monopoly of most Pennsylvania mobility companies.
You got it.
Um, there's like two of them in the state. Uh,
That's why I went to Canada to get my wheelchair.
Well, you didn't
oh
go
my
to
God.
Canada, but I know what you mean. Yes, the
Yeah,
Canadian
it's from
company.
Canada.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I might do that. That's smart because I hate if I have any repairs that I can't do, I have to go back to Pittsburgh and go
Uh,
to what's it called? Uh Trenton, I think Trenton,
oh,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, yep.
Um, but yeah, it's a
Now
mess.
the company that I work with, they have techs that'll come out to you if you can't fix it.
That's cool.
They have a video service that I use, so I show them the chair and I tell them what's going on with it, and they try to walk me through it on the video chat. And if that doesn't work, then they schedule someone to come out.
Yeah,
So it's
wow,
very
that's
helpful,
amazing.
very convenient.
That's
I'll
amazing.
tell you after we wrap, and I'll get it. Just
yeah.
because
I call them my
Thank you.
mechanics too. Yeah,
I'll plug them, but they're if they want to sponsor me, I'll plug them. But other than
Right, right. Yeah, we
that,
can do it after we wrap for now,
I don't do plugs.
though.
but yeah, I get you don't look disabled all the time, especially when um I walk with just a cane, or I don't need a cane
Yeah,
that day just because it's dynamic. So some days I'm fine and some days I'm really not. So I get it all the time.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yep.
you can walk.
Yeah. Oh, I get I get stared at, and like I've said this a bunch of times on the show, there's a lot of people that feel the need to say something to me when I stand up out of my wheelchair and put it in my van.
That's so badass though. Like that's such a power move
Yep.
to just be like, all right, because you're exactly right. Like people are always looking or always thinking.
Like
Um,
I call them the blue zone police.
Blue zone, please. I love it. You should start winking at them after you put your chair in the
Well,
van.
like I've said a couple times, I say hallelujah and then I get in my chair. It's a miracle.
Yes, he told me that.
Oh,
I always laugh at
wow, I
that.
love it.
This guy used
That's
to
awesome.
his background. I always get this wrong. So can you please? He used to work with law enforcement and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
Police,
Yeah,
fire, and EMS. So,
his life was different, you know.
yep. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, EMS is such a tough one too. I got
It
a lot
is.
of friends that spend days on the truck, you
Yep.
know, especially in smaller spots where there's not a lot of
It's
staff
true.
and everything too.
Yep. They, a lot, I don't want to say it's a standard, but a lot of departments, and when I say this, it's referencing 24-hour cycles. So it's 3 on, 2 off, then 2 on,
Mhm.
3 off. And that's how they kind of do their rotation. So you're talking sometimes you're 72 hours on the ambulance.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's
Couple
tough.
pals where I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" He'd be like, "Still in the truck." I'm like, "Oh man."
It's a thankless job. So thank you to all
Yeah,
those
absolutely,
EMTs that are listening,
Definitely.
especially the volleys.
for sure.
That was
Uh,
only four, Terry. We got six to go.
I felt like
All right, let's plow through these.
let's just go through them fast. How about that? All
The
right,
Yep.
number
lightning round.
5. It's all in your head. You just need to think positively. Oh,
Uh,
yes. Sorry.
Got that from my mom when I not with my disability on the physical side, but the mental health stuff when that started developing.
uh,
That
that,
was
and that was
that was
helpful,
for
I'm
a
sure.
while. Oh, it was great. I loved it.
Have you tried and then in brackets unproven or potentially dangerous treatments to cure your cerebral palsy?
Uh, I would get that when I was younger. I don't get it as much now, but it's an interesting one. I don't know why it changed as I got older. Maybe because the way it was presented, I wasn't as strong and I had clunkier wheelchairs, and maybe people thought like there was more chance of walking or like curing it or whatever. But yeah, for
I
sure.
get that all the time where, hey, I know someone with MS, they're on this drug and they're doing fine.
Ugh, yeah.
So I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my God.
okay. It really bothers me.
Yeah, I bet. I mean,
Family members. Oh my God.
yep. They think they'll think they're doctors or,
They want to
Hmm.
fix
medical
your problem so they don't
professionals.
have to deal with it. Or, I mean, they don't have to see it and they're not comfortable. I don't know. There's this whole
Mm-hmm.
psychology about it.
Yeah.
But the number one word that we hate as MSers is inspiration.
Ugh.
You're such
Oh,
an
yeah.
inspiration. Whew.
That kills me. It
You know,
makes me, that's the one thing that still makes me angry.
reading this
Uh,
quote made me angry. Let me finish it. It actually says,
yeah.
"You're such an inspiration for just living your life." I'm
Ugh.
like, what? I've never,
Uh,
yeah.
You know who
that's
had
so much worse.
the best response to that was when we had Bean on the show, Terry.
Yes, yes.
When
Being
Bean was
is
on the show, she said she would say when people would say that to her, she would say, "Great. Now what are you going to do with that inspiration?"
Oh, that's badass. I
that's
like
right,
that.
man.
So use that too. You can use that one.
That's really good.
That's
I
right. I
like
remember
that.
that.
Yep.
I love that. Yeah, Bean's the one that
She
basically
was great.
started this show, Push, in
Yeah.
Canada,
Hmm.
which is a cool name for our show, Push, because they're pushing wheelchairs. So yeah, number
Yeah.
7. Oh, that
Seven.
was inspiration. Let's go to number 8. We're almost done, guys. All right.
There will be a test. There will be a test.
Right? It's
I'm
all in
sorry.
here.
I can't understand you. Can you speak more clearly? Okay. That
Oh.
doesn't obviously for us, but
Oh, I still get that.
get out of
I
here,
was at
man.
I
Ugh.
was at I was at like a festival a couple weeks ago. I was in the village and this lady kept asking me for help, or if I needed help. I kept saying no. And, I talk like, I'd say fairly fine. Um,
Yeah.
and I was a little bit high, but like not like super high.
It is New
Legal
York. It's
weed in
fine.
New York
Yeah,
City,
it's fine.
gotta love
Bro,
it.
Canada, bro.
But she goes, "Oh, I can't understand you. I can't hear you." And then I repeated myself, and then she goes, "Use your words." And oh, I don't know if like I felt like a cartoon with my like just steam coming out of my
Wow.
ears.
Use your words.
That was
Bro.
so like I just felt like a little kid, like I was
Wow.
5 years old getting reprimanded or something.
It's terrible.
That's what it is you feel like a 5-year-old kid. I all the time.
Now,
Dude, you speak perfect, by the way. There's nothing wrong with your speech, but
Thank you. I appreciate
cool,
it.
cool.
side note from this, do you find that people speak differently to you because you're in a chair? I don't know. Is that on your list, Terry? Is that number
Yeah,
9?
bro.
Do they think you're not as smart as you are just simply because you're in the chair?
Are you talking about the puppy voice?
Yeah.
Like if they're talking to a dog?
Do you
Yeah.
need help?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that voice,
Exactly.
yep, where it goes up like a bunch in
Yeah.
pitch. Oh my gosh, I still get that. I think I could be on the cover of like every magazine or like a multi-billionaire or something, a household name, and I'd still get that. That is
Ugh,
something that's never gone away, and I don't
yeah.
know if it will.
It's the worst.
To me, it's like if I take a key and I'm putting it into a door, before I can even attempt it, they're like, "Oh, do you need help with that?" It's like, man, just watch me struggle first. Like they don't even
Right.
give me a
Wait for a
chance.
second. Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 9. Let me help you with that. This is basically you're saying, let me help you with that. You're not capable of doing it yourself. No, I've never heard anyone say you're not capable
Yeah.
of doing it
No.
yourself. That's really
Mm-mm.
cringy.
Yeah, that I haven't gotten that one either, thankfully, because I feel like I would go into full-blown soapbox debate mode if someone was that blunt with it.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
but I do get that a lot, and here's the thing: sometimes I will uh take the help if I'm already struggling. To your point, if it's something I started to do and I'm clearly like, a door is heavy and not automatic or something like that, I'll say, great, thanks. If it's something I'm in the middle of doing, like you're saying, I will usually go, oh no, I'm good. Um,
Hmm.
on that subject, do you guys ever get random strangers pushing your chair without asking?
No, I had one little incident, but no,
Just
no.
No.
one?
You? Oh my God. Wait. Is it because you were really young when this happened, or did this happen
It
recently?
still happens now. It still
Wow.
happens now.
I
I'm
had
so
well, go ahead.
yeah. Go
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I was at the
I forget what I was saying.
I was at the Phillies. I was at CB Park, and I was heading
Oh,
back.
nice.
I was heading back in the parking lot, and the side I went to didn't have a curb cut. So I was like, oh, there's a 6-inch drop. So then these two random guys walked up and were like, we got you. And they just like picked me up and like put me down on the car. I was like, oh, thanks. So it's not like,
Right.
I needed the help. It was appreciated. Um, but it was definitely they just walked up to me and was like, we got you. And then up and down
That
I went.
that's probably the best way. You know what
Yeah.
I
That's
mean?
best case scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like, I'd yeah, I'd be in shock, but I'd be like, all right, that could have gone worse. But yeah, yeah, totally. That's
It was, I mean, it was constant in school. It was like if I was walking in the hallway, and it'd be like out of nowhere, I'd be going like 5 times faster than I was planning on
dude,
going.
man.
And they'd
That's
go,
not
So
they'd
right.
cool.
say like vroom vroom and shit like that. But
Uh,
Oh
it
my
happens
God.
much less now, but it still does happen.
Whoa, slow down. You're gonna get a ticket.
uh,
Dude,
Oh,
that's when
yeah.
you
it
see
is.
me go, I don't even
Yeah,
laugh. I
that's
don't
when you get
smile. I
that.
just, I just give them that
So
look.
funny. Right. That is that like just an older person thing? Because I don't really get it from people that I'd say are under the age of like 60, but I do get it from like that sort of age range and older.
I think so. I'm thinking that now. I've never gotten it from a young chap either. Did I
Young
just say
chap.
Yeah,
that?
right.
Did
I
I
s-
just say that?
Yeah, a young chap. Yeah, because
All right,
that used to, I get that all the time, but yeah, that's a funny one.
man. Speeding ticket. There's ones that says, how fast can
Yeah.
that go?
Yep.
Um, whatever.
Can you do a
Yeah.
wheelie?
Oh, that was
Yo,
so
you
for
said you're not
18
good at
years.
wheelies.
I'm
I love
horrible
that.
at
I
wheelies too.
love that a wheelchair user is not good at wheelies because everyone
I'm
thinks we're
so
like
bad.
pro.
All right.
Nope. I will eat shit every single time I try. I used to fake it and use like the wheelie bars and then just
uh,
like grind those things until they would fall off by like just leaning on them. But I can't balance. I don't know why. I've tried and it's like so I say I'll get asked that and I'll say I'll do one if you do one first and then they just walk away. Anything to make people like as
yeah,
uncomfortable as they've made me.
yeah.
Man.
Can you do a wheelie? Can you do a handstand?
That I can do
Oh, nice. Of all
because
the things.
my legs are so light
Dude,
that
you're
I
joking, right?
can.
Hold on.
Right.
Relax.
Oh,
He's joking.
that's
You're
gonna be a.
joking.
No, I'll send you a clip.
We need a reel. We need a reel of that.
Yeah, I'll make one. But that I actually found out in eighth grade that I was trying to do push-ups in gym, uh, and everybody else was like winning these push-ups, but my legs are bent because I can't straighten out.
Yeah.
So my knees are they're kind of touching the ground, and my gym teacher was like, "Well, your knees are touching the ground," and I was like, "Fine, do this," and I just like put them in the air, and no one else could do it. So,
I can't do push-ups either because of my knees buckle and they touch the
hmm
floor. So I can do them, but they're the lighter push-ups, whatever you want to call them.
yeah, yeah.
But
Where I
but
grew up, and I hated this. They called them girl push-ups
Dude, I didn't want to say
in
that because I'm
yeah.
so worried of saying stuff like that.
No,
You know
but
what I
you're
mean?
right. Back then, that's what they.
That's
That
what
we
they
don't
called
do
them
it
then.
now, but back then, yeah.
Right. And I would say, and I'll tell you what, uh, listen, half the girls in my class could have kicked any one of those guys.
I
They all
bet.
played field hockey and softball.
Oh man,
Yeah,
You know
field
what I
I believe
hockey.
mean?
it. Yeah, and
That's
that was
rough.
back. And
Uh,
that was back in the no cage on the face field hockey days. That was just they
right.
were just going
Yeah.
for it. That was
I
brutal.
I
Yep.
believe he's a generation below us, so might not be in the same
how old are
age
y'all?
bracket.
I'm old. No, I'm kidding.
52?
You're old.
No, no,
52.
no.
50.
Terry gets older every episode. He ages by years.
Yeah, cerebral palsy, we age in dog years, so
I always
Nice.
say that, man. I might look like I'm an age, but dude, my body's 72.
Yeah,
yep.
right. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in our
I
40s, just
have
so you know. Don't
Oh,
tell
you're in your
anybody.
40s.
Shh.
Okay. Yeah,
The
secret
gray
safe
gives
with
it
me,
away.
man.
It's the gray,
I
Terry.
I have some gray in my that's one of the reasons I chopped my hair off. Was because at the ends it was starting to gray a little bit. I was like, that's the stress of trying to go on disability, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Did we get to 10 yet?
Yeah, I'm about to do it.
Oh, all
Is
right.
this
All right.
10? All right,
Yeah,
let's do it.
you're so brave for being out in public with your
Oh,
disability.
Yeah, that's a why? I never understood that because like it's it's I'm along the same lines of the inspiration porn thing where it's just
Yes,
like
yes.
people want to they think it's like a good thing for some reason, but I don't know like how. Like why do people think it's good to say those things?
When I'm out sometimes, someone would be like, "Oh, hello, Terry. Nice to see you out." It's like, the way they put it, it's like
it's
every
like you
time I'm
broke
out,
out
I
of
don't see
jail.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a the bravery thing I never understood. My parents would get that all the time and like it would bother them too because they were really really good about never treating me any different than any of my other five siblings, which I appreciate because if they had coddled me in a way that like sheltered me from how the real world actually works with all this
Yeah.
stuff, I'd be so lost with how to handle it. But yeah, they would shut that stuff down real quick too.
I got a question for you because I'm trying to find out. I know you have all this, you have all these ventures under you right now, but what's your next upcoming project? Just curious.
Ooh,
I know
so
you have this podcast and usually it comes out on Mondays and you kind of put it on
mhm.
hold. I can't wait for the next season. I know the season 2's coming out.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. the one of the other reasons that the podcast was put on hold was a very big venture that it's probably not going to be out for a year, but we're working on a video game right now. That is
I
it's kind of
saw
like a
that.
mix of Tony Hawk. Yeah, it's like Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero. Um, and
Okay.
I'll since it's you guys, I'll let you guys know if
World
I talk
premiere.
right if I talk to able-bodied people on their podcasts, I never like go into the like too many details, but whenever it's like other people in the community, I'm like I'm gonna let them know some extra fun stuff.
Ooh.
um the premise is that I need to get a new wheelchair, but I don't have the money for it, so I have to, because the insurance companies won't cover it. But I have to find a way to make the money for it. So I signed up for Battle of the Bands because the prize money is just enough to get the chair. But then the insurance companies find out, and they really just out of principle don't want me to get the chair. So they actually, because they're all billionaires, use uh, let's say legally distinct Neuralink um, to get super great guitar powers, and so it's kind of just like a battle, and I guess a little bit of a commentary on how the American healthcare system is completely broken.
I love
But you
that.
get to skate around and do tricks, and I'm good at wheelies in the game, so that counts.
Dude, it's what did I see that? Was that on a post?
Yeah, it was probably on Instagram. Um,
That's
but
cool,
yeah,
man.
we've been working on that for a while, and you know I have a buddy that used to be one of my roommates that's a software developer, and then I've been learning coding too, so it's just kind of us like uh from the ground up doing what we can. But I haven't really found a game other than like I guess a long time ago Happy Wheels had like an old dude in a wheelchair. But
Nice.
there's not really much going on in that department. So I figured that it'd be fun to try that. So that's kind of why some of the other stuff has sort of taken a backseat, because the game stuff probably takes 20 hours out of my week.
So you're a gamer, obviously.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
what console? So am I. What console? Or don't tell me
So
PC.
right, I play Xbox.
Ooh.
I do have a PC that I use, but I don't really use it for gaming. I used to have a PS4 and then it like kind of crapped out and I can't afford a PS5, but I like PlayStation's exclusives way better.
Cool.
I
We're
just
friends.
finished,
We're
yeah, I
friends.
just finished Ghost of Tsushima, best game I've ever played. I I played it on PC because had they have some PlayStation ones on there. Best game I've ever played. Phenomenal game.
How's your hands? So just so you know, when I get really fatigued, um, usually at nighttime, if I've done a lot in my daytime, my hands, if I were to put, okay, to roll a cigarette, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to because my hands, the coordination, really hard. I would need to use some sort of tool. Anyway, when I game, people who know me understand I'm pushing square, 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 but really I'm pushing X because I can't feel my fingers sometimes. So, when I play with random people, they're like, what's wrong with this guy? He doesn't
Yeah.
know how, you know what I'm
Oh
saying? So
yeah.
I have a lot of dexterity issues in my hands. I'm just curious, how about you? Are you able to
Yeah.
play regularly?
Um, for I'd say shorter periods of time. I get fatigued pretty quick.
Cool.
The way I play guitar is very different than like I feel like how most people would learn. Like I can't hold a pick at all. My hands they tremor a lot. Um, and they get tight and tired. Uh,
Yeah.
so I sometimes, there are sometimes like, especially if I'm in a bad spell of like fatigue, which the hotter it gets, the more tired I get for some reason. I can't win with temperatures,
Dude,
bro. I don't know.
no, 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 no,
Same.
no. The same, the same.
Same.
Us, we
You
humidity,
guys too?
humidity
100%.
kills me.
Yep.
And when I was talking about the
Yeah.
cold, that's water. That's different. That's when the water,
Yeah.
my body spazzes. But
Yep.
when it's heat, humidity, my body shuts down slowly and I get tired. And oh
It's
my
so
God, bro,
tired.
it's so
So
bad.
I'll go days without playing guitar or something, because like in the summer, because if it's so hot, it takes all my energy just to even like get my chair, wherever I'm going around the apartment, you know. So
Yeah, I know,
I
man.
totally feel
Yep.
that.
I know you have a line of merch out. Where can we find that?
Mm.
Yeah, that I will have to make sure I have to update some stuff with the website. It's currently under construction, but yeah, those are some of the hats and shirts, and I'll give my girlfriend a shout out. She is a fashion
Sarah.
designer, so yep. I'm
See that? I
so
do my
fortunate to
research,
have
dude.
her. You know everything,
I
bro.
do
You
my
got
Yeah,
research,
this.
bro.
he's creepy.
Sarah
Way no,
Guliana.
way better than me with my guests on my show. I'll be like, so tell me about like I'll maybe get a chance to do like an hour of research beforehand, but like I'll forget stuff all the time. But yeah, the merch stuff, my girlfriend designs all of it.
Cool.
And I'm so lucky for that. Like uh my favorite, I think, of the stuff is probably the band-aid that says ouchie
Oh,
on
that,
it.
yes, I saw that one. That's the bottom right. I know it's hard to see, maybe the way I'm sharing it.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, we'll put it down in the description for everyone to know where your merch is.
awesome. Yeah, I'll make
Mhm.
sure that that is back up and running before the episode drops.
What do you mean? It's
So
up. I found it. It's on Etsy.
oh, the Etsy store's still
Oh, is there
up.
another
That's
one?
right.
Okay,
Okay.
I didn't know that. Okay.
No,
Okay.
there's two. So, but the reason is because before I had the one site, we had it through the Etsy store. But as long as it's still up on one of them, then that's good.
I think so.
Um, yeah, Squarespace is who I do the like normal website through, but I've been having some issues with one of the things that I'm trying to add to it. It's like an audio format thing.
Okay.
Um, yeah, a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, but it'll get fixed eventually.
Here are the 5 songs that I found, even though there's one more, I believe.
Yeah, we there are a
Burnout
few
Baby,
other ones
California
too.
Letdown, 2 great songs. I like Wake Up Call
Oh,
too,
thank
and
you.
Junebug, of course. No, I'm being genuine, man.
I
But yeah,
appreciate it. It's
yeah,
that's my that's like what I wish that I would be able to just do. Like if I could just pick one thing of all the stuff that I'm like kind of have my hands in, if I could just make music and then have an audience that listen to it, which I do, have a small audience, but it's so much bigger than what it used to be. It used to be like 4 or 5 people, and now it's I think I have like 100 people or something in the on Spotify, and so music has always been that thing where it's just I just like it. It's fun. It's the one thing that never feels like stressful or work.
good.
Um,
Good.
so I'm
Yep.
glad you like it. That means a lot to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, man. Yo, in a year, even if nothing happens from the music or anything like that, I'd like to bring you back on if that's cool with you.
Oh, 100%.
Get an
This has been
update
so
with
much
you.
fun.
Yeah, man, you're
Cool.
cool, man. I'm so glad I got to connect with you.
Yeah, dude. And I do also want to say I appreciate you sending me like reminders and stuff, because
He's good for that.
I'm so I mean, I have like ADHD and all that, and then everything else going on that my brain will just like completely wipe it. So, but this has been so much fun. I've done so many shows where it's been like kind of weird, and like you don't feel comfy talking with folks, but I'm like, oh, I feel like I know y'all already, which is so
Awesome,
great.
man.
So that
Thank you.
it's been great.
Glad you're here. Good to meet you.
Yeah,
So,
nice to meet you
Teddy
guys.
Cosmo, that's not your real last name, is it?
It's my middle name.
Okay, cool, cool.
I got
Yeah,
Adam.
last name is Coppice. You got Adam. Yeah. I'm lucky. I don't know why they did it. Uh all my siblings have like pretty normal names, I feel like. But I feel like they just I don't know. The universe was like, "Hey, give this bro a stage name or
It's a
something."
cool
So,
name, bro. Yeah, I know.
Very cool.
yeah, I'll take it.
Awesome. Nick,
Terry.
what a great show, man.
I know. Teddy, hell of a guest. Love having you on. Can't wait to
Thank
talk to
you.
you again.
I had so much fun. Yeah, I'd love to be back. You said in a year, hopefully hopefully
Yeah,
Whenever.
I'll have some stuff to
I'll
talk
bother
about,
you,
and
man. We'll stay connected. Trust me.
Yep.
You
oh
can't
hell
get rid
yeah.
of us, bro. We're family
Awesome,
now.
dude. I'm so pumped about this. I love just meeting people, especially I wasn't expecting this, but it seems like there's so many connections just as far as like physical stuff experiences wise between folks with MS and at least my specific like flavor of cerebral palsy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the things we like highlighting, and that no matter where we live, no matter what the disease, there's a shared. We're all part of the, like you said, the larger community, and that's what we like
Yeah.
to highlight.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I would definitely say like just keep making this show because I feel like it's got a lot
Thanks,
of good
bro.
stuff that I
Thank you,
feel like
brother.
folks should hear.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
All right,
Yeah,
brother. Talk
appreciate you
soon.
guys. Talk
All right,
soon.
guys.
See you later.
Talk soon. So check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4 letter T below zero.com. Or feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. Our personal Instagram account are, for Nix, it's Nix_V713. Or for Terry, it's what's_MS. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. We'll talk soon.